But they have switched over to doing the fireworks at the art museum for the last couple of years because, like I said, they have the big concert there and all of that. So we managed to get up so close to the art museum. Like I said, we were watching the concert for a while, and then when it came time for the fireworks, we literally laid down in the grass. Like, there's the art museum, and then there's like a 3 or 4 lane road, and then there was a patchy grass area. We set up shop there. We just sat down, put our bikes down, and just sat there and waited for the fireworks. These fireworks were so amazing because we were so close. I literally had to lay on my back in order to see them because they were that much on top of me. And I am not lying when I say I had little embers flying down. They were mostly out. I mean, there was a couple that were still floating down, lit. But they were falling all around me, which was kind of scary but kind of cool at the same time. I will never forget that night and that fireworks show and that concert. And I almost stayed at home. If it wasn't for my friend that lived upstairs from me and she didn't talk me into it, I would have just stayed home and probably went to bed at 10:30, which is still late for me. You know that. So I'm very, very glad that I did that. It was my most fun 4th of July ever. We typically, on my dad's side of the family, they have a family reunion every year on the 4th of July weekend in West Virginia, where my dad is originally from. I had gone for a couple of years in the last couple of years. I actually was open to going this year, but my brother and sister said that they wouldn't be able to make it, so I didn't want to go without them. And it always annoys me that I leave the Jersey Shore, where everybody's coming for a holiday weekend, to go somewhere else. So maybe next year we'll see. But I wanted to hear from you. What is it that you look forward to the most? We've got Gail who says family, fun, and fireworks. Janet says, I'll be looking forward to my paycheck after working the holiday. Oh, Janet, at least you're getting some money. Lauren says, spending the afternoon with some of my bridal party. Sounds like someone's getting married. Going to the chapel and we're... All right, I will save you from my singing. Makes me happy enough to forget about missing out on a day's pay. So I hope you have a blast, Lauren. Wilbur says a 4-day weekend and more time with the family. Marcy says having the day off now that I'm not in the radio biz anymore. Marcy and I worked at the Wall Street Journal radio network together for many years until they shut their doors. John says days off and food. Kevin says the food and the fireworks. Tracy says ultras. She means Michelob Ultras. And I know Tracy, I responded back to her, is today any different or is July 4th any different than any other day? And she posted a picture that she was drinking, and she said, nope, you're right. Dana says sleep. Kim says the 4 F's, fun, family, friends, and food. Jody says, I miss being on a military base and watching the fireworks while they played patriotic music. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Sue says, wearing my new red, white, and blue bathing suit. Yeah, love red, white, and blue bathing suits. They're awesome. Is that like just red, white, and blue or flag style, Sue? I'm looking forward to seeing a picture. Karen says sleeping in. And like I said, my sister, Michelle, said fireworks. So, all kinds of things to do for the holiday. One of my favorite things to do is to watch fireworks by boat. Have you ever been out on a boat to watch fireworks? Very popular around here, obviously. There is a joke that goes around that says that the boats in the water looks like the Walmart parking lot because it begins to get so insanely crowded with all the boats trying to see. And then it's like, you have to wait forever to try and get out, just like you would regular traffic. Everybody trying to leave at the same time. It's the same thing with the boats. It's a little bit better to be on a boat waiting to get home than it is in a car. Just my opinion. But that's something that I have not done in a long time. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen this year either. And that's, again, I'm okay with that. The crowds here are absolutely insane. So I will move on to my blog post for the day. Today I'm going to talk about the company you keep. And I put up a quote that your circle should want you to win. Your circle should clap the loudest when you have good news. If they don't, get a new circle. That's right. So, have I ever mentioned how much I love my neighbors? It's funny. I typically write my blog posts after I finish my podcast. So, like, say, I'm going to finish my podcast in a few minutes, and then I typically will write my blog post for the next day so that I don't have to worry about writing my blog post when I get up in the morning. I just have to gather the news stories that I want to talk about and figure out, everything that has to do with my topic and all that, and then I can just get going. So before I even wrote this, I said, have I mentioned how much I love my neighbors? They are the best people in the world, and I'm truly grateful we are able to live among such wonderful souls. Well, my neighbors came through for me again yesterday. My wonderful neighbor, Ray, who is an older gentleman, originally from Italy, who was a chef, lives across the water from me, and he is amazing. He grows anything and everything you can imagine. And like I said, he used to be a chef. I've had some of his dishes. Last year we had a barbecue, and he brought over some breaded eggplant with his homemade bruschetta to die for. So he had posted on Facebook the other day a picture of his zucchini flowers, and I had gone on there and been a little bit of a beggar and said, oh, you should offer some to your neighbor across the way. So he called me yesterday and said, I have some food here for you, Wendy, if you'd like to come over and get it. Well, yes, Ray, I would like to come over and get it. Thank you very much. It's funny because I had seen him in the morning, and like I said, these were zucchini flowers, and I saw him in the morning, and he across the way, and he was holding them up, and I said, oh, are they the zucchini flowers? And he said, yeah. I said, they're so pretty. They look like they should be in a vase. And he just looked at me and he says, they're much better in a pan than they are in a vase. Yes, you were absolutely right, Ray. They were delicious coming from a pan. But I digress. So I wanted to mention one of my neighbors from last year was mentioning to me at the end of summer last year that they go to a local place to see a guy that performs doo-wop music. Doo-wop music? I love doo-wop music. Okay, I am in. So I ended up meeting him there when he was already seated with a couple friend of his. So it was the four of us as his wife was working and would meet up with us later. We ordered some food and waited for the show to start. Meanwhile, I had never met this couple before, and they were a little bit older than me. I'm going to say somewhere in the 60s. So, man, they did nothing but complain the whole time about everything. They complained about the service we were getting that day. They complained about service they had gotten at a restaurant over the weekend. They literally complained about everything. I was literally exhausted when I got home just from listening to them. The music was awesome. Had a great time. But I asked my husband when I got home is it like an older people thing? Do they just complain more? Or hopefully maybe they're just the complaining type? I'm not sure the answer to that. But I literally felt drained when I got home that night from having to listen to all that complaining. Frankly, it kind of annoyed me. I felt like asking at one point if there was anything they found enjoyable. Being around people like this is not fun. Not only does it suck listening to it, but it brings you down as well. I was so happy that night to see some good old doo-wop music, and they practically ruined the whole experience for me. I had to get out of there. After like the first set, I'm like, I really got to go. So do you have friends and family members that are like this? Don't get me wrong. Everyone does a little complaining occasionally. Sometimes you just need to vent. You hear me complain on here. It happens. But when it gets to the point that all a person does is complain nonstop, it may be time to limit your time with said person. Now, I've mentioned before, my mother was extremely pessimistic. She played the victim right up to her end. I had a lot of the same personality traits as my mother, but I wanted to change. I wanted to be a happier person. She seemed content to be unhappy and complaining all the time. So as I started down my path to a better life, watching Oprah and reading self-help and inspirational books, I told her it was really hard for me to be around all of her negativity all the time. I told her that when she was negative, it was like quicksand pulling me down with her, and I was trying so hard to stay on top. Because here's the thing. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to be complacent. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It is so much harder and takes so much more work to try to stay positive, to do things that make you happy, to have a sunny outlook on life. And when I was around this negativity all the time, I was just kind of like, yeah, you're right. Why bother? It's not going to do any good. Oh, my gosh. I'm just going to sit here and watch TV. I needed to keep my distance from that because I could be sucked in so easily. So I told her, the problem, and nothing really changed. Not that I expected it to, but I started to limit my interactions with her because, like I said, for my own well-being, I needed to limit that type of behavior in my life. Then, of course, I was accused of being a bad daughter, so I just couldn't win. But ultimately, I chose me. I chose to focus on my happiness and my outlook on life more than anything. Now, it definitely put a strain on my relationship with my mother. And I mean, it wasn't just because of that. But talking about the circle and the people who should be clapping for you loudest, that was another thing. My mother, she was very self-centered. Everything really was about her. And, I'm just telling you like it is. Both times I told her I was moving to the Jersey Shore, her first response was, now you're leaving me too, because my brother and sister had already moved away. The Jersey Shore is not that far from where we lived in Pennsylvania. And instead of being, especially the second time around, I was very surprised that she said that again, because now she knew how much I loved the shore, how much I was trying to get back to the shore. And for her to make it about her was a little disappointing, to say the least. But when someone is literally draining the life out of you, it is time to question the relationship. Is this someone you should cut out of your life altogether? If you don't want to do that, then maybe you just need to limit your time with them and prepare yourself when you do spend time with them. Give yourself a pep talk before the gathering that you will not let this person bring you down. That you're just going to let them do their usual complaining, brace yourself for it, and not say anything unless asked. And if you are asked for your opinion, give your positive point of view, although they probably won't want to hear it. Sadly, some people are happiest when they are complaining. The only thing you can do is to keep your distance. Remind yourself, this is not how you want to be. You want to be grateful. You want to have a good outlook on life and a more optimistic view of life. So go out there and find a circle you can really count on. There are people everywhere looking for meaningful connections. Go find you some. Like I have said, it's never been an easier time to make friends. Join a Facebook group. Do a meetup group. Do something. Start a new hobby. There's all kinds of people out there that could be your new best friend. So it is Hump Day tomorrow, 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Be safe. Don't be shooting off fireworks at your house. Everybody does that around here. It's dangerous. I don't want any fireworks landing on my roof and start my house on fire. Don't do it. I will be taking the day off tomorrow, as I mentioned, but your daily dose of inspiration and positivity back on Friday. Now, please, I want you to have a very fun 4th of July, and I want you to have the most fun and to make it your best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.